The Peugeot 205 is by far the most used rally car in the Crew Motorfest, and for good reason. It's the most nimble, it has top-notch NOS power, top speed, and handling. But what if you're tired of using it and you just want something else that can, at the very least, compete? Well, here are my list of top 5 rally cars not named Peugeot 205. Let's go! Alright, real quick before we get into it, if you're looking for any of my tunes, go to militiagamingco.com, click on Motorfest tools from the top, and there you'll find my tunes. For the tunes for these particular cars, I'll have them in the video. It'll be after we talk about each one, and then I'll show you my pro settings and we can end the video. Alright, let's get into it. At number 5, we have the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The GT3 RS is definitely the most niche car in the list. Its strength is on-road routes, which is not super common in the rally department, but when you do get one of those routes in the grand races, it outperforms even the meta Peugeot. It's got great top speed and the handling is unlike anything else in the class. Again, on the road. When you do get this car off-road, it takes quite a bit of NOS management to keep up with the other fastest cars, and it really struggles in situations where wall banging on hairpins is necessary. And that's where you end up using a bit more NOS trying to maintain your pace. Aside from that, it is controllable, but it does have the occasional oversteer moment due to being rear-wheel drive. At number 4, we've got the Citroen C3. Now, this was actually the meta car very early on in the game, and the reason is because it's an all-wheel drive car that is very controllable in basically all situations, and it has some of the best NOS power in the game. Its handling is top-notch, and it accelerates out of corners very well. I can't really think of a place where it struggles, but it's just slightly slower overall in pace than the meta car. The thing is, it's not enough slower to make it a bad choice. You could absolutely default to this car on every route and still do good. Of course, if you get a sweat in your lobby who's very good with the meta car for that route, you're obviously going to struggle, but I think you can definitely use this in the majority of situations and not feel underpowered. Alright, at number 3, we've got the Delta S4. This car actually held my own personal record on my rally test course for a long time. It's definitely fast enough to keep up with the best in the class like the Peugeot, the Fiesta, and the Countryman, but it struggles slightly with traction coming out of the corners due to being rear-wheel drive. This game's rally meta is definitely all-wheel drive, so it's at a slight disadvantage there. I do really like the way my tune has changed some of the oversteering tendencies though, so use my pro settings and let me know what you think in the comments. This car's got great NOS power, it's got good top speed, it handles well in and out of hairpins, you can use it to wall bang. It does have slightly slower acceleration out of a hairpin, but it makes up for it in the NOS power department, so it's not the biggest challenge to keep up with a Peugeot as long as you're managing your NOS. At number 2, we've got the Mini Countryman. This might be the most overlooked car on the list. The fact is, it's crazy fast on certain routes. Most of the time, those routes include a lot of bumps and bombing hills. If the route feels like it should be a rally raid route, then the Mini is the best choice. It is absolutely a special use car in the Grand Race meta, but because of its speed, it can be used basically on any route. The issue is it's slightly slower than the Peugeot on routes where bumps are not present, so it can't be considered the meta car. Again, like most of the cars on this list, it's got good NOS power, it's got decent handling, it's controllable, and it accelerates pretty well. But finally, at number 1, the Red Bull Edition Fiesta. This car absolutely has a case to be considered the meta car in this class. It's definitely a step up from the other cars on this list, and I actually prefer it over the Peugeot because it is more controllable in sections with a lot of bumps. The suspension feels much more forgiving, and with this tune, it feels much more stable in basically all circumstances. In my opinion, it's just as fast as the Peugeot and more controllable, which is why I think it has a case to be called the meta car in the class. Now at this time, it's not unanimous that this is the fastest car. I think some of the community thinks that it is, and some of the community still uses the Peugeot. So I think time will tell on this one, and as we get more competitive racing through the grand races and we figure out for sure, I'm just going to leave this one on the table and say the Peugeot or the Red Bull Edition Fiesta are going to be the best in the class. And finally, I've got an honorable mention for you guys. It didn't make the list, but it was right there and it was really close between this and one other car, so I figured I'd mention it anyways and give you some pro settings. The Puma. This car was introduced with Season 6, and to be honest, it is nice, but not the best option on the list. I don't really like the handling that much, and it tends to snap oversteer like crazy, especially if you have a high max lock and steering sensitivity setting, or if you're on direct mode. The other issue is that it has a bug that happens in second gear after hitting a wall, where the TCS gets stuck and causes the car to sputter, steer on its own, and sometimes not want to accelerate, which you can see in the background gameplay. And by now, you're probably wondering, why did I even add it to the list then? Well, the car is decently fast. It can keep up with the majority of the cars in the class, and it does better than the remaining cars not on this list. When bombing a hill or driving in a lot of bumps, the suspension is very forgiving. It actually eats up a lot of the rough terrain that happens in some of these routes. So I actually do like this car. You just have to be a little bit careful of the snap oversteer. Anyways, I hope this helps. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up my pro settings here so you guys can see that for all of these cars, including the meta car Peugeot. And if you have any questions about this, you're more than welcome to send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.